Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the London's Pretty Cool podcast with Aaron and Pat. We have a great guest lined up for this week's episode. If you've paid any attention to the London music scene, you'll have heard the name Sarah Smith. Sarah has been playing music ever since she can remember and is now a household name in the singer-songwriter community. In this episode, we talk all about her new EP, Sarah Smith and the Lovers of London, written with Noelle Frances and 6 other London-based artists. We also get into her vast touring career, how the London music scene has changed over the years, and what's up next for Sarah. Be sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe, and all those great things that really help us grow. Follow us on Instagram at LPC Podcast to stay up to date on all upcoming episodes and all things London. Now, on to the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to London's Pretty Cool podcast. I am one of your hosts, Patrick Briggs.
And I'm the other host, Aaron Briggs.
And we are sitting down with another incredible guest. This is someone who we've been looking forward to talking to for a very long time. As we were talking before the episode, we've watched her perform multiple times in the city. If you're from the London area, you definitely know her name. And we're excited to be talking about her brand new release that involved a couple other fantastic artists here in the city and elsewhere. So Sarah Smith, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing really good, guys. It's a beautiful day here where I live, and I just feel really happy to be able to talk to people from London because I miss you guys.
That's right. You're in Vancouver now. How's the East Coast or West Coast treating you? Oh my goodness.
I actually live on a little tiny island called Pender Island. And so it's a little bit different than Vancouver or even Vancouver Island because it's very remote and it's small and it's private and it's a beautiful little community here. I'm still very much attached to London. London is my home base. London has been my support system. It's watched me grow and lifted me up. And so I can't ever let go of London, but I certainly am very happy to be here in British Columbia within nature, and it's just wonderful.
You mentioned how it's like this really nice, like smaller sort of community and everything. Totally relates to what we're talking about here in London, Ontario. I just wanted to know first, though, because we are going to be talking about like your big history in the music scene here in the city. But how did you get started in music? Where did it all begin?
Something, my family was very musical. My mother, she was like a church singer, and she had a chance to be an opera singer at one point in her life, but she ended up getting pregnant with my older brother. So that dream was sort of smashed. And I think she always sort of encouraged us to be musicians. My father was a country guitar player, so we always were sitting around the house playing guitar and singing, and like the Von Trapp family. Couple siblings as well. My mom put me into piano lessons early. I really just loved music. And I did my first church solo as a singer when I was 5 years old. A local gentleman from Elora, Ontario, wrote a song for me called A Bunch of May. And I still remember the melody of it. I remember the lyrics. I was only 5. And I sang the song in front of this church, and I just saw all the old ladies like crying at the church. And I thought, man, this is cool. It's like pretty powerful, and it's moving people, and it made me move. And at 5 years old, I knew that there was power behind music.
That's awesome to have that connection right away, and to have such a visceral reaction from people as well.
Absolutely. And, I just went on to really love music. I was a drummer in school. I played in a band called Fries and Gravy.
Great name.
Love that.
And then when I was like 14, I got a guitar for Christmas, and that's when all my emotions started to pour out onto paper as a singer songwriter. That's where I really started owning my gift as a songwriter.
Going to say that's a perfect segue because we were going to say you've been praised so much for your songwriting and like how vulnerable, oh my goodness, you are in your lyrics. Have you always been so kind of open and honest with your songs, or has it like taken a few years to open up and be so honest with your lyrics?
I always, the first few years of writing songs, I wrote songs about Canada, and I wrote songs about, going to war, and I wrote songs about the Bible and things that I sort of was raised with. But the first song I ever wrote about my feelings and about my pain, I broke up with my boyfriend, and I felt really bad about it. So I went back to ask him if he would come back and be my boyfriend again. And he said, nope, he already had another girlfriend. So I was so hurt. I wrote this song called You Came Back to Me. And it was my first real song. And it made people cry. My mom and dad were crying when I showed them the song. They were sitting on the couch and kind of like, Canadian Idol. They were sitting there on the couch judging me. And I played my little song, and I looked up, and they were both crying. And, I could tell that they could feel my pain through music. And, so ever since then, I've noticed that I do write a lot of emo type songs, and they are pretty true to my feelings. Yeah.
Has there ever been a song that you wrote that you felt maybe like you said too much, or you were nervous to release because of how honest it was?
Pretty much all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really scary because usually it's about something I've gone through in my life, and it's usually about a relationship, and the person must know it's about them. And, or, maybe they don't, but to me, it's pretty obvious, and it can be painful for them probably to hear some of my words. And it is uncomfortable. And I've stopped myself a lot. Like I'm like, I don't know if I should release this. It feels like it might be too personal. And people have, told me this is one of your best songs. You should release it because people can relate to the pain you're going through. And there's also always a kind of a positive message intertwined in the songs. And it helps. I think it helps people that are going through similar situations. So that's why I do it. I don't do it to hurt another person.
Oh, no, I don't think there's any malice behind any of your lyrics. Absolutely.
No, there's not.
What is it like performing these songs, like when you're with your band? Is it like emotional for everyone? Does everyone kind of stand strong with you when you're speaking about like some hard truths?
Yeah, the band has just been incredibly supportive. Like they co-wrote most of the songs with me. We would sit in my basement and go through arranging the songs together and talk about what the songs are about and help pinpoint some lyrics and just make sure everybody was sort of understanding the vibe of it. And the band helped bring the feelings and emotions to the table for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are really talented guys. I've been sort of, during COVID, I've sort of taken a step back from the band thing because, I moved away. And in my new community, people have been so welcoming, and they want to play with me, and I've had a lot of opportunities to play with people. But I'm kind of in this little turtle shell at the moment where I just want to sort of play with myself. Like I just want to kind of experience the solo thing again. It's been a little bit like I'm in this little privacy thing that I just don't want to break my little turtle shell right now.
Mm-hmm. That totally makes sense.
I feel like a lot of people are probably feeling that way coming out of quarantine and COVID. It's still kind of nerve-wracking to open up and go out and see people that you haven't seen in months or even years or like a year.
Yeah, it's not so much about going out of the house to see people. It's more about like just needing to heal inside my soul. And so I need to be alone. It's like I'm going through this journey right now that's a solo journey. And it's the only person that can heal right now is me through this. So I'm just sort of doing it. It's very introspective right now where I'm at. It's not really a time where I'm really jamming with people or reaching out for friends or anything. I'm just sort of in my own little bubble. And I'm not sure if it's healthy, but I do feel really happy. So I guess it must be.
What's writing music been like in these quarantine times, now that you're writing mostly by yourself and everything?
It's been pretty healing, like I was mentioning. It's a lot of stuff is coming out, and for the first time in my life, I'm writing love songs, happy songs. I've never been able to sort of get in touch with that side of my emo side, and so the love songs are coming out, and they're really special and they're really cool. And instead of always digging into pain, I can actually dig into like this beautiful light and love that I'm feeling, and that's really cool. And a lot of them are like just kind of happy songs, you know, a lot different than what I'm used to writing. As far as writing with other people, I really need to do that. That really helps me as a songwriter, as a somebody that has chose music as a career. The co-writing really helps me. So I've done a lot of co-writing through Zoom. I've done a lot of co-writing through Zoom. I've also met with a few people and done some co-writes at their homes now that things have opened up. And I've done a lot of co-writing for people that wanted to hear their poems or their lyrics put to music. You know, a lot of people have written poems. They think, hey, this is a song. And so I've said to them, you know, if you think this is a song, why don't you let me make your poem into a song? And I've done 20 of those during COVID, 20 songs with 20 different people that have never had a song written ever in their lives. And it's been really rewarding to see their reactions and to feel their excitement about songs again. It's really cool.
Gosh, that is really cool, especially if if they're not musicians, right? You know, to be able to walk around saying like, oh, I helped write that song, you know, like I was a part of that. Yeah, like that's a really, really cool thing to have on your shoulder, in a good way, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I've encouraged them all to, you know, register with SOCAN, which is the Foundation and Society of Composers here in Canada. And they're actually real songwriters. They really are. They wrote a song with me. And I mean, a lot of these people are never in their lives dreamed that they would become a songwriter. And it's really, really cool to see their reaction. And the songs turned out really great. But some of them I produced myself, and I'm definitely not a producer. And I'm just like, whoa, that sounds cool. You know, and some of them I sent off into studio land, and like real producers produced them, and some of them are some of my best songs ever. It's crazy.
That's really interesting. That's really cool. Like you said, sometimes with collaboration probably comes inspiration that you never knew you'd have, right?
Totally. And another big step during COVID, that something that I wrote for the first time ever was I wrote a song that I would say was a song based on my relationship with God. And I've never actually been able to release something like that and not feel ashamed about it or embarrassed or something, you know? And so this is the first time that I'll be releasing a song that's about reaching out to God. And
very cool.
Yeah, now that's a vulnerable place to be. You know, what are people going to say? Are they going to think I'm a Christian, or they're going to judge me, or whatever they're going to do? And so, you know, I've had to think about that, and I've realized that I think the song itself will just speak the truth, and people can either like it or not. That's what art is about, you know.
Starting a conversation, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's interesting because you're talking about the growth of yourself as a songwriter and getting to this interesting point in your career now. I'm wondering about when you were starting out in the London music scene. What was it like then when you were starting out compared to now? I mean, you aren't in the city now, and you haven't been able to, unfortunately, play a show for the last year or two. But can you give us an idea of how it's changed and how it's grown?
Oh man, the olden days, they were so fun. Like we kind of started as a cover band, you know. First it was a band called Pop Joy, and then that sort of blossomed into the Joys. And Pop Joy was starting to play these, we were jumping up and down on stage and playing these 3 set nights, and everybody was smoking in the bars, and it was just like a crazy, like, cover band scene. Like, everybody was loving the cover band scene, right? And then eventually we started writing songs, and we started putting some songs into our sets that were original songs, and people liked them. We started selling our CDs at the shows, and eventually, over time, we became known as an original band, the Joys. And we started getting opening acts slots on festivals, and we started playing more original shows and less cover shows. And, it just was like a roots growth. We got email lists at every show. We would get people to sign our email list. And, over the years, I have 10,000 emails on that email list.
Wow.
And
Just
it's all broken
away.
into cities. Yeah, grinding away. I would go to every table, like, can you sign my email list? And I still email those people.
All the updates. Absolutely. You need to have them. Be a part of that
Yeah.
crew.
Fans through and through from the start.
So the London scene, like, it was like really cool. We kind of switched from being this cover band playing Molly Blooms on Tuesday nights to, playing some big stages, like playing with 5440 at Western Fair, or playing Aeolian Hall, sold out shows at a theater, and playing only our music. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Pretty amazing feeling. Aeolian Hall is an amazing venue too.
It's my favorite. I love it. I love the people there a lot.
When now that the city has, like, say, a music office, how has that sort of changed your relationship to playing shows, or just like your music career in general?
I think the London Music Office has been great because they've sort of they've created new ways to perform music. They've really made our music scene more about art rather than just like playing the bars. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy that they've taken, this beautiful medium of music, and they've allowed us to play on the main street in front of people that would never have heard our music, or they've allowed us to play in the market. And they make it so special and make it sound like we're like, a part of the artistic scene of London. And I think before that, the musicians were just like get us a gig, and like, it's going to be 9 o'clock till 2 in the morning. And, that's how we're going to pay our bills. And now it's more about being artists, and they're also offering grant opportunities and seminars and a lot of learning opportunities and growth for the musicians in London. I think it's great. They're normalizing also finances. Like, some bands were making a lot more than other bands. And I think that the London Music Office has just sort of normalized that rate. So most musicians are getting paid the same. So I think that's pretty cool. It's like socialism or something. I don't know.
Having a good standard rate is always a good thing, just nobody's getting ripped off of any sort. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I don't know if they have a say in some of like the big artists coming into the city, but I feel like once the office came into place, like, that was another thing that shifted. Like, the Junos came in. Like, did you take part in the festivities when they were in town?
No, I did not. I was on tour in Europe or something. Yeah. Yeah, I missed out on the big thing. No, I wish I was there.
I was gonna say, touring in Europe's pretty good excuse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I can't believe what London has done in the last few years, and a lot of it has to do with the London Music Office, and that's pretty rad stuff. Like, we've always had a union, which I've been a part of, a music union, which helps with getting gear insurance and helping us cross over to the States. That's what the union is really good at doing. But there was nothing ever to rally us all together and to get us gigs and to, like, make us seem a little bit more important than just being bar bands.
And I was just wondering, you kind of mentioned how, like, you've been growing, been able to play bigger and bigger shows. I guess you kind of answered, but I was wondering what, like, did you really notice the growth in like the reception from audiences from album to album? Did you notice like this album has really changed things for me, or you know, this album really started making touring happen and now I'm playing this, like how has the growth like shifted? Was it all just gradual? Did one album suddenly hit a little bit harder than the others? I was just wondering about some of that.
It's a great question. I think that when I first became a solo artist, 2012, and I noticed that there was a lot of hype around my first album. Like it got like the top album of the year in the London Free Press, and there was just a lot of hype around it. A lot of people were really into helping me and pushing me forward and wanting me to do well. You know, stepping away from a band was a really hard thing to do. A band is a family, so it was really almost traumatic to leave a band situation and just move into a solo thing. But the support was crazy. And then the next album after that was an album I did in Germany, which was unreal. This guy found me on Facebook and flew me out to Germany, and I got to do an album with this German producer. And so then it became like this more pop sound, international pop sound. And so that opened up a lot of doors for me, touring in Europe, you know. After that, then my band and I, we released 2 albums together, and that just to me, the band was a very magical part of my career. It really gelled, and it got us big shows. It got us like more band shows, you know. Like as a solo artist, you can play till you're solo till the cows come home, but band shows are cool. They're good money. They give you riders. They give you accommodations. You know, you're playing pretty big stages. So that's kind of the 3rd and 4th album there. And the Christmas album too. So like 3 albums with my band. And then, so I sort of took a step back from that because of COVID, you know, everything just stopped. And I felt this need for change and need to start over as an artist. I just kind of wanted to start from scratch. And so hence the move to BC and sort of in my little turtle shell here.
Rebirth. Absolutely.
Yeah. It feels like I shed skin, like a snake skin, and I'm just starting as a baby. And, you know, I have to play a few cafes and some listening rooms and some things that, you know, I'm not as far down the scale as I thought I would. I thought I would be starting from scratch, but I'm not. I guess I do have people here that know who I am. I have a name and a reputation, and I am starting above scratch. So that's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of mentioned some of like your accolades, like the #1 album in the London Free Press, and like you've also won like Best Adult Contemporary Artist at the Toronto Independent Music Awards. What would you say personally is your biggest accomplishment, or like what are you most proud of in your career?
That's another good question. Geez, you guys have done your research here. I honestly think my proudest moment right now is an upcoming moment, and that is this November. I am playing on the Melissa Etheridge cruise.
Whoa!
So yeah, I get to
wicked.
play with Melissa Etheridge, Katie Tunstall, and Joel, and it was something that the cruisers got to vote on, and they voted me to come on the ship.
Wow!
So,
Wow!
That's awesome.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm totally pumped for it. And as far as awards go, I haven't won many awards in the last couple of years, of course, because of COVID. But, you know, one thing I have won is a chance to go back to Europe again this fall. I'm doing like almost 2 months of a tour this fall. And, you know, there's some really exciting things happening. I mean, I could go on, like just the fact that I just got asked to do a theater show in Europe, and I'm going to play the part of Janis Joplin. I think that's really cool. Right?
That is so cool.
So there's
I could see it.
Yeah.
So there's some really neat things happening, and you know, we'll just see what happens in the world. I'm trying not to get too overly excited because, as we know, things have been a little bit weird. So I'm just trying to go with the flow but just the fact that happened, I feel proud of myself. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Those are things you should definitely be proud of.
Yeah.
You've also won like multiple, I was reading in your career highlights, lots of Jack Richardson Forest City London Music Awards. And those awards are mostly chosen by vote. So does it mean more to you, like winning awards that come from like your community?
Well, when the London Music Awards first started, the London Music Awards, it was like a voting system, and the fans and public could vote. And I won all of those awards. Like they just kept coming in. And I thought, you know, this is really cool, but let's give somebody else a chance. And I really was happy to receive them, but also I felt like it was getting a little much. Like it was just, I was winning them all. And so the Jack Richardson Music Awards came along, which is now the Forest City London Music Awards. And they're actually not by votes, they're by committee and by jurors. And I find that those awards are pretty meaningful because, you know, there's like a jury, a committee that votes their top 10, and then they break it down to the averages, and whoever's left wins. And I always thought that was pretty cool too. Maybe the Forest City London Music Award is now voting again. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it all is really cool. Every award that I've ever won is really cool. And I'm really happy that I didn't win an award this year, though, because it allowed other younger singer-songwriters and rock stars to come up to the podium and get what they deserve.
Nice and humble.
Oh, yes. You know, it's nice to see my name up there, but I've got my goals and my dreams set on something a little bit different now.
Speaking of like, I don't know, just the amazing dreams that you have and the goals that you have achieved, you were talking about how you're going to be touring in Europe later next year, or was it this year? Sorry, this year or next year?
I leave on September 6th.
Oh, that's so
coming
exciting.
up so soon.
Yeah, exactly.
You've also recently, though, began to play in the Caribbean, and you've mentioned that you've started like stage work. There was a Petrolia Playhouse Theater performance, and can you just tell us about like how those kind of challenges, have broadened your skills? Did you start out in stage before you were a music person beforehand, or is this a new challenge?
So when I was a kid and my mom forced me to be in the church choir, we used to do these operettas, and I was a singing songbook. I was actually the part of a singing songbook, and I had to dress like a book. Like they had this big box on me, and it was blue and pages. And so like I sort of loved acting, and I loved singing on stage at that point. I tried out for some theater shows when I was a kid, and I didn't get the parts. So that wasn't really in the stars for me. But I have done 2 theater productions with Petrolia Playhouse Theater. They're very challenging for me because I am not good at memorizing things, and they make you memorize lyrics, and they make you memorize like saying parts, and they also make you memorize chords that you're playing and dance moves. Like seriously. And they try to put me in heels all the time, so me in heels and dancing and playing guitar, not good. So anyway, I've done them and I love them, and I want to do more because they are a huge challenge, and I would love to do more. That's my whole thing about music, is challenge me, make me different, make me better, make me grow. I want to. I don't want to be stagnant and bored,
So you'll be on the lookout for more of those performances. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no worries. Yes, I will. And also the Caribbean stuff, like those are amazing shows. They're mostly like packages where I get to go on the vacation and I play music while I'm there. So I've done Jamaica, Tobago, Jamaica again. I'm doing Roatan this year. I've done a Sarah Smith cruise where 50 of my fans came with me on a cruise.
Wow.
I've done, just some really great fun shows. And also they usually put me as like a guitar player in a band as well. And so I have to learn how to play guitar like well, and it's a challenge because I'm not great at it. So yeah, that's those kind of gigs. I had, Honduras is coming up this year. Honduras, it's going to be fun.
Those
All
sound
over the
nice.
place.
Yeah, that's, my whole plan was music. Take me around the world, show me what is out there, and show me this beautiful land that we live on, and just show me the world.
Yeah,
so
it's a great plan, and it seems to be working out.
How has touring in Europe or the Caribbean differ from Canada? Obviously, Canada might not involve a cruise, but other than that, like what would be a big difference you might find, like let's say in your upcoming European tour compared to touring Canada?
European tours are very well organized and planned. Their government supports live music and music initiatives. Musicians in Germany, sound techs in Germany, and venues, they're all government supported jobs. So they get vacation pay, they get sick pay.
Wow.
They actually treat them like government employees. Like, it's pretty amazing. So the live music scene there is very well organized, and it's a little different here. Like here, the bar owner's like, what am I paying you again? And they pay you cash and away you go. Right.
Yeah.
There it's all documented and, taxed and everything. So,
wow.
As far as the artist playing for a crowd, it's always pretty busy. The crowds are usually not wasted. They maybe have one or two drinks, and they're there to watch and listen to music and support live music. They always buy your CDs. As a Canadian going into Germany, I'm a foreigner and I'm special, and that's how they treat you there. They treat you special. And here in Canada, I'm just good old Sarah Smith, and which is great. I enjoy being a Canadian, and I enjoy playing live music here in Canada. But maybe we have some things to learn about how we can run our music business a little different.
That's very interesting you say that, because even with government grants that are available, even with all of the opportunities with the London Music Office, it's still, like you said, during this whole pandemic, everybody who was working in that industry wasn't really getting any support during that time, or I think what you're describing is a situation I'd love to see here in Canada. That sounds very cool.
It is really cool, and there's a reason that a lot of people go there to play. They just treat you so good. Like, you get food and accommodations, and they treat you like an artist. They treat you like they're really proud to have you at their place. And if you ask a lot of musicians, they'll tell you that sometimes you get treated like poo on the bottom of the shoe in other places in the world. So, like, here, you guys can go hang out by the trash cans.
Yeah.
but they're giving you like royal treatment.
Speaking of the royal treatment, what is one of the best experiences you've had on tour?
Oh man, the thing about tour that I love is the camaraderie between the musicians and the fans. I love watching night after night as the fans come out and they're singing your songs and they're smiling and the band is happy. Those are the best nights in the world. Those nights right there. They make everything worth it. They make the other nights where you're sick or you're tired or you're grumpy or, there's nobody there. They make those nights all better.
That sounds so lovely. And so yeah. And segueing along to your most recent release, you did Sarah Smith and the Lovers of London. So along with Noelle Frances from the Pairs, who we've had on this podcast before, how did you decide to come up with this project?
Well, I noticed that the London Arts Council had a grant, a community arts and investment program. And I thought, I really want to do something to involve the London arts community. It was just sort of starting to roll. Like I was noticing that the London Music Office was starting to connect people. And, a lot of us have been touring so much that we never have really sat down and got to meet and be a community. So I was really, really excited to work with other London artists that I've only ever heard of and never been able to work with. So the other thing is that I wanted to create an album of love songs, depicting all sorts of love of a family member, love of, your inner self and your power, love of a friend, love in a relationship, like a loving relationship, a romantic relationship, love of a higher power. I wanted to write about love so that, because at the time we were going through COVID and everybody was sort of not feeling the love, and I wanted to get people together to, talk and write about love. That's how it all started.
Who are some of the other artists that are featured on this album, and how did they get involved, or how did you choose them?
Noelle Frances is my co-writer for the entire album. It's really her and I, it's our project. And she allowed me to release it under my name, really. She's an amazing songwriter and a beautiful singer and song. Like you're just going to hear her voice all over the CD. It's amazing. And we wrote a list of our favorite London locals, and we just wanted to make sure that a lot of different people were, like it was a good list of people that kind of represented in all different areas of our community. And so we broke the list down to our 6 individual people that we worked with, and we wrote them all a message and asked them if they would be interested in working with us, and they all said yes. So we have Sarah McDougall. Wow. We have Doug Vardy. Do you guys know Doug Vardy?
I don't actually.
He's a London legend. Look him up. He's been in the music scene forever, and he's just an incredible songwriter and performer, and one of my people that I've always been inspired by. Third on the list was Richard Gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know him.
Great songwriter. And then next came Sadat.
Oh yes,
she's like a children's inspirational, motivational speaker and musician. And we wrote a really cool tune called "Change" about the power within that we all have.
Nice.
And fifth on the list was Addison Henry, and he is from the band Lost in Japan.
Oh, okay, very cool.
It's like a young pop band, and I've always loved his music, and we had a great time writing together. And last on the list was Jen Marino, and I think the song that Jen and Noelle and I wrote is one of my faves on the album. It's called "Chosen," and it's about family. It's not about your blood family. It's about the family that you choose as you go in life, the ones that uplift you and support you through it all.
That's awesome. I love those choices of people that you've worked with. It's such a wide range of artists as well in their particular genre that they're known for.
Yeah, right. Noelle and I really thought long and hard about the list, and I was really happy with what we came up with in the end. And they were people that I've never worked with before. So, coming from London, Ontario, we've never really got to work together. So I was pretty stoked to work with them all.
I was gonna say, and especially now that you're outside the city, it was completed over Zoom. If that's correct, how did that work?
It worked amazing, actually. Noelle and I, we would get together with each of the individual songwriters, like once or twice a week. We would have meetings, and we would write like half of the song with the person, and then we would come back the next week and kind of finish it off. And then we would kind of choose what parts we were going to do in the song. Like, was I going to play guitar? Was I going to sing? Was somebody going to sing harmonies? Were you going to produce it, or should we get somebody else to produce it? Or are we going to mix it ourselves? And we would talk about those sort of things as well. And really, it only took about 2 or 3 sessions per song to get everything done. And then in came all the tracks. We would send each other our tracks through, Google Drive or WeTransfer and get them mixed. And that was it.
I love it.
It was amazing. So it's not like the most highly produced album in the world. It's 6 songs that I would say are, just a little bit above demo quality. But I think that there's magic there.
Sometimes that's all you need is the emotion and like the feeling behind everything, right?
Yeah, it is definitely. It was weird times, man. We were writing music on Zoom through COVID, so it was weird times, and I think that we brought some real beauty out of those weird times.
For sure, especially with the whole album about love. It's got to be a great kind of thing to be able to listen to and feel through every single track on the album.
Totally,
so,
Erin.
Yeah. Do you have any upcoming plans for the future? Like you've been writing, you have your new cruise that you're going on, many cruises, but anything else that our listeners should be looking out for in the future?
Oh, I'm always doing 1,000 things. And right now I'm sort of taking a step back just to be here at home before I leave on tour. So my brain is just really here at home, spending time with my family. I've had visits here from my mom and dad and from friends, and my partner Leslie's family is here right now. So we've been just sort of being homebodies. That's what's happening right now. But coming up, we got lots of tours. I also am doing a tour with Rise Up TV, which is a TV show that they follow around artists on tour. And this year we're going to have a bus while we're on tour. I'm doing a West Coast tour and an Ontario tour. And that'll be really fun because I've never toured in a bus. So I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, that's a big step.
That is a big step. Like, do you shower on the bus? Do you sleep on the bus? Where do you go to the bathroom?
Definitely no number 2s. I've watched enough of those documentaries. No number 2s on the bus.
Yeah, but what if sometimes you just gotta take a number 2,
I know. What are you doing in an emergency? You never know. You just have to figure it out.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Oh man. So that's one thing else I'm doing, and I'm going to this new year is opening up for me here. I think I'm going to do an album here on Pender Island. There's a really nice little studio here, and I'm going to work with a local guy. I've got about 30 songs sort of in written and ready to go. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not.
And
awesome.
And how can people listen to your music? If our listeners have heard all this and they want to check you out or follow you, how can they find you?
You can find me at sarahsmithmusic.com. Sarah with an H on the end, smithmusic.com. Check out my music. It's all on there. There's links to my Spotify, and there's links to Apple Music and YouTube Music. There's links to Amazon Prime Music and anything you want. And of course, there's a shop where you can buy my CDs. Buy my CDs.
Get those physical copies. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, I take pride in the artwork on the CDs and what's on the CDs. So if you still have a CD player, please buy the CD.
So we're going to get into some London-based questions here. As we are London's Pretty Cool podcast.
Yes.
So first one for our London questions is, what is your favorite place to eat in the city?
Oh my goodness. My favorite place to eat is Maze in Wortley Village. It's a Thai food restaurant. Love it.
Yes. Great place.
What about your favorite neighborhood? We are the city of neighborhoods.
Gotta say, Wortley Village, all the way, Wortley Village. I love it there, man. I lived sort of across the street from Wortley Village. I lived off Warncliffe on the other side of the tracks there, but Wortley Village was definitely the place that I really enjoyed being in.
Such a great part of the city.
What's your favorite venue in London? Kind of touched on it.
I would say Aeolian Hall. Like, I just love the vibe there. I love how it's, they have a lot of fundraisers there as well for El Sistema, programs like that for kids that want to be in music. And I love what they're doing there. I also like, for like a nice big rock club, I love the East Side Bar. I think they've got great sound and nice big stage, and it's like a good rock bar for sure.
I like that choice. A London small business you couldn't live without.
London small business that I could not live without. Oh. I can't really think of it off the, I guess, I'm going to go back to the food situation here because I'm a huge foodie. There is a health food store in Wortley Village, and they had lots of vegan products, and I forget what the name of it is though. Quartermaster. Yeah, they were great. Used to go there all the time to get my health food stuff.
This is a nice little commercial for the Wortley Village. Everyone's got to come through. If you were to have a perfect day in London, what would it entail?
Oh, well, I really enjoyed walking just anywhere in any of the little parks. Man, you guys are making me have so many nice memories. There's so many great parks and parts of the city that I really love and I do miss. Even just walking downtown was always entertaining. You never know what you're going to see downtown London.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I like that. I like this. I like the city. I like the vibe. I like, it seemed to me that I knew most people on the city sidewalks. Anytime I was walking by, people would be, "Hey, Sarah." My favorite day would just be going for a walk, grabbing a latte or something, and checking out maybe some Zenza Pizzeria downtown. It's a vegan pizza place, and just watching the clouds go by and the blue skies, because that's one thing London has, really cool things. They have a lot of blue skies with fluffy clouds. You don't get a lot of fluffy clouds out here, so I miss the fluffy clouds.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, I definitely loved the festivals. Any festival where they would have like the little booths set up.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Little shopping booths where you could get leather purses or, little wallets or dream catchers or all those fun little artist things. Those were always fun for me.
Yeah, we've been missing out on those these last couple summers, so can't wait for them to come back. For sure.
Is there a hidden gem in the city? That could be a person, place, or thing.
I'm a relationships person. I love people. I just think that the city has so many amazing people. I'm just going to give a little nod out to one of my pals, though. Do you guys know John Huff?
No,
I've heard the name.
He's just a really beautiful soul. He's a really humble guy. He's been through a lot. He's also started a podcast, but that's not what makes him cool. What makes him cool is his support of musicians and in particular singer-songwriters. He'll play a background role to uplift and support musicians. He's done a lot of publicity work for people. He's done a lot of advertising. He wrote a book on my first tour. I had him drum on my first tour in Europe. And he's just a really supportive person. So as far as a gem goes, he's a great drummer and a beautiful human being, John Huff.
Great answer.
John Huff, shouts to you. Now it is time for the it's almost the end of the show. At this time what we do is we like to have a classic London's Pretty Cool game. It's time for this.
Oh, or
that.
that.
Come on, Aaron.
Sorry, got distracted. Someone was calling me. It's all good. Sorry.
That's all good. I'm keeping this all in. So this is just a quick lightning round game. So we're going to give you two options, and we want you to pick as quick as possible. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So we'll start it out with Western Fair Market or Covent Garden Market.
Covent Garden Market.
Sunfest or Home County?
Home County.
Masonville Mall or White Oaks Mall?
Masonville.
This one will probably be easy. Wortley Road or Richmond Row?
Oh, that's not easy.
Oh.
Wortley Road. Wortley Road. But they're both great.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know, there's so many good venues on Richmond, so it's tough to say.
Totally.
Right? Fanshawe or Western University?
That's a tough one. I got to go with Fanshawe, the underdog.
Speed City Records or Grooves Records?
Grooves.
Grooves all the way. Brown and Dixon or City Lights?
Man, City Lights.
Would you rather bike on the TVP or bike on one of our many trails?
What's the TVP?
The Thames Valley Parkway. We have a nice bike trails that go
do?
all the way through the city. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I probably have used them 1,000 times because I used to bike everywhere. I'm going to say a trail.
We've got the London Brewing Co-op or Anderson Craft Ales.
You know something? I never went to either. Oh, I did. I played a wedding. London Brewing Co-op.
Nice. Would you rather play a house show or a venue show?
In London, a venue.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
What about what about seeing the show? Would you rather house show or venue?
Venue.
Beauty. And then lastly, Springbank Park or Gibbons Park?
Springbank.
Nice. And you did.
Congratulations.
Woohoo!
Did I win?
Yes. You answered quicker than most of our previous guests, so I would say yes.
Nice. Woohoo.
Big success. Absolutely.
Awesome. That was great. I love that. That was fun.
Sarah, thanks so much for taking the time this evening. As you know, we've been saying we've been wanting to get you on the podcast for a little while, so we really appreciate you taking the time, especially since you're outside the city now. You know, linking up with us, we really do appreciate it. So thank you so much again.
Thank you guys so much, and thanks for representing London so well. Hey. Thanks.
Hey, you
take care.
You keep repping the London scene everywhere you go. Absolutely.
Thanks. And hope to see you guys in person soon. Hey, everyone. This is Sarah Smith, and you are listening to London's Pretty Cool Podcast.